All right, let's get right into it. Today, we're talking about a data structure that's way more flexible than a stack and, honestly, more powerful than your standard queue. It's called a deck, and it really might be the ultimate queue.
So, to get your head around this, just picture a buffet line. You know how it works. You get in at the back, you leave from the front. Simple. But what if you could just hop in at the front if you're late? Or what if the last person in line could just decide, nah, and leave from the back? That kind of beautifully chaotic, super flexible line, well, that's pretty much exactly what a DQ is in the world of code.
So you might be asking, why do we even need this? Don't we have stacks and queues already? Well, yeah, but it all comes down to the limitations of its two very famous but kind of rigid cousins. So on one side, you've got the stack. It's last in, first out, or LIFO. Just think of stacking plates. You can only put a plate on top or take one off the top. That's it. It's simple, but pretty restrictive, right? Then you have the queue, which is first in, first out, or FIFO. That's your classic checkout line. You get in at the back, you leave from the front. Again, super useful, but they both lock you into working with only one or two very specific ends. And this is exactly where the deck, pronounced deck by the way, swoops in to save the day. It stands for double-ended queue, and yeah, it does exactly what it says on the tin. It's a structure that lets you add and remove things from both ends. So it's not just a stack, and it's not just a queue, it can be both. It gives you the best of both worlds, the ultimate flexibility.
So how does this whole thing work under the hood? It's not magic, but it is pretty clever. Turns out there are two main ways to build one of these.
Okay, so method number one is using what's called a doubly linked list. With this one, every element or node doesn't just know what's next in line, it also knows what's behind it. It has a next pointer and a previous pointer. This is huge because it means adding or taking away an item from either end is insanely fast. You're literally just updating a couple of pointers. No need to shuffle the whole line around.
The second method is the circular array, and this one has a brilliant little trick up its sleeve. It uses a regular fixed-size array, but when you hit the end, you just wrap right back around to the beginning. It uses some clever math, specifically the modulo operator, to figure out where the next spot is. It basically treats the array like a circle, which means it almost never has to do that expensive, time-consuming process of shifting all the elements.
Now, if we look at the trade-offs here, you can kind of see when you'd use one over the other. The doubly linked list gives you a guaranteed instant operation every single time. That's O of 1. But it does eat up a bit more memory because of all those extra pointers. The circular array, on the other hand, is amazing for your processor. Because all the data is in one block, it has great cache locality, which means it's super fast. Its speed is what we call amortized O1. Basically, it's blazing fast 99% of the time, with just a tiny performance hit once in a blue moon if the array has to resize itself.
Okay, that's enough theory. This all sounds cool, but where does it actually show up? Let's talk about some real-world places where the delaya is secretly the star of the show.
I can almost guarantee you've used a do today and didn't even realize it. You know your web browser's back and forth buttons? Yep, that's a do managing your history. That undo and redo function you use all the time in your text editor? That's a do too. They're also super important in high-performance computing for something called work stealing. Think of it like a shared to-do list for a team of processors. One processor can grab work from the front, but if another one runs out of things to do, it can steal a task from the back of the line. It's a super efficient way to keep everyone busy.
And listen up, if you're prepping for any kind of technical interview, you absolutely need to know this. Deques are the secret weapon for solving a whole class of tricky problems involving sliding windows, like say finding the highest stock price within every moving 3-day window. A deck is just the perfect tool for that job.
All right, so let's boil all this down. What are the key things you absolutely need to walk away with?
If you remember just one thing, one single thing, let it be this, O1, constant time. That power to add or remove an item from the front or the back instantly with no delay. That's the DEQ's superpower. That's what makes it so incredibly efficient.
So let's recap one last time. A deck gives you the combined strength of a stack and a queue. It's all about that flexible two-way access. When you're building one, you've got two great options: the easy-to-implement doubly linked list or the super-efficient circular array. The bottom line is really simple. Anytime you face a problem that needs you to mess with both ends of a sequence, a deck should be the very first tool you think of.
So you see, a DQ isn't just another data structure to memorize. It's a completely different way of thinking about problems. It gives you true bidirectional power. The next time you hit undo or see a complex system running smoothly, you'll know the secret ingredient.
So the only real question left is, now that you know about it, what problem are you going to solve first?